Episode 30, Money, Money, Money. Nothing funny in a small biz world.
Hi, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Jade.
And this is Really Fucking Trying.
A podcast where we talk about the ins and outs and ups and downs of running a small business and being creative.
I think the title might be a fucking clue with this one. What do you think?
I don't know, what's it about?
I could genuinely believe at this point that is a question. You I do all the planning. You just rock up on the day and hope for the fucking
I have a good
best,
time.
don't you? Oh, don't do that. So yeah, the title's a clue basically, but we've done this episode kicking and screaming basically.
Yeah, it's a very taboo topic, isn't it? And I think...
I don't know how I feel about the word taboo.
Well,
It doesn't sit right with
I think
me.
taboo is taboo.
Yeah, maybe taboo is taboo. Yeah. I don't know, taboo, it's a cutesy word, but it's not a cutesy.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't sound like what it means.
I don't think I like me saying cutesy, to be honest.
No,
that was
hated
taboo.
That was out of character. But yeah, anyway. Money is a very... Money is a very, I don't know what other words to use, taboo topic. But I think it is possibly the most important aspect of running a small business.
No, it is, I think.
Yeah.
It is.
So who the fuck are we to ignore it?
We thought, fuck it, let's just throw ourselves in at the deep end. We've been doing this a year. We are big girls. We can talk about it.
We can talk about money.
We can. Even though I'm a bit like nervous about this one. It's usually me going, no, come on, Jade, we can do it. But yeah, it's just the two of us today for this one because there was absolutely no way that we were going to inflict a guest on this one.
No.
I don't think that would have been fair. So that's the way it is. This is us two talking about finance.
Yep.
Let's just get fucking into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's go with it.
So to start with, I think we should go back to the beginning. Not like birth, but like startup costs. Because I've got a fair bit I'd like to say about this as well.
Okay. You want to go first?
No.
Okay. So I think like starting a business, it sounds big, it sounds scary, it sounds expensive. It doesn't have to be. It is expensive, but it doesn't have to be big and scary. It can evolve and grow. You don't have to start off where you're aiming to be. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be perfect straight away. Obviously, we can't go too much into like starting costs of like materials because everyone's business is completely different. Yeah. Like what I spend on materials would be completely different to what you spend on materials.
It would be similar, I reckon, because we do around about the same thing. But for people, we know we have candle makers, jewellery makers. Someone that we recently spoke to was talking about David fluctuating timber costs. Yeah. So things like that.
We can't possibly bring you any insight on that.
Yeah, we can only tell you about what we do.
Yeah.
But whilst a lot of us are different, we have different costs, but that's just life in general as well. Like somebody's house will cost more to run than another person's house, so we can't possibly all be in the same boat, and I think that's okay. But we all have similar experiences, similar worries, especially in regards to the momentum and keeping a small business going whilst keeping yourself financially stable.
Yes, tricky. Should we talk about like the essential startup costs then?
So yeah, I mean, as I say, we can only talk about what it was like for us in this case. So I'll be very honest, I was very lucky. I got a small £300 grant to help me start my business. Now that money was part of my startup, it was. I used this solely for one purpose though, and that was to try out different print suppliers. I had never had prints made in my work before, ever. I didn't have my own printer. I had no interest in getting my own printer at that point, but it was hugely helpful. So I used it to try different printing companies, but also use different papers, different finishes, just to see, because I had no idea what it would look like. I knew what the original drawing looked like, and that was all I'd sold. Nothing. I'd only sold originals until that point, and that was a learning curve. So I used that. A lot of that £300 was money down the drain, and that was fine because it was there for experimenting. It was there for trying different companies. I assumed that my drawings would be best matte on some kind of thick, heavy cartridge paper. I assumed that was what would look best. So that was my first sort of port of call to go, right, okay, I'll order from X supplier. I believe it was printed.com actually. Right. And ordered a matte print. Can't remember what kind of paper it was, but either way it turned up and I was so disappointed.
Oh really?
It was completely flat. Like it had taken any sort of tone, so the blacks that were black in the drawing had suddenly gone to like a dark grey. It just wasn't. It fell flat for me. Grays. It was one of them, I think, you know, the second you see something, don't you? Like the second you get out the package and you go yes or no. And I saw it and I just thought, I was comparing it to my original drawing, to the scan that I'd uploaded on my computer, and just going, I don't like it. So imagine if if I'd just
Yeah.
put all my eggs in one basket and got them all
really gone
printed
for
that
it,
way.
yeah.
So I think I was lucky that I had that money to experiment. So in the end, I found out that it was a different print supplier with a luster finish and using them as more photography. So they are actually photography prints technically because they've got a slight coating on them. But that means that the blacks are blacks and the whites are whites.
Yeah.
So it's great in that sense. But it wasn't money down the drain in a
Yeah.
way because it probably saved me because I think I would have defaulted to
What you thought was going to work.
what I thought
Yeah.
was going to work, yeah. So that £300, because I'd told myself this is for experimenting, none of it felt like money wasted.
Yeah.
There was, I think I ordered from about 11 suppliers. 10 of them I didn't use.
Yeah.
But I didn't consider that money wasted because I told myself, you're going to use this to experiment.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you have that mental conversation with yourself in your head and tell yourself that the money that you're going to put into this business at the start, some of it might go down the drain.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're more okay with that. So I think it's our mentality to money, which is something that we want to talk about in this episode as well, is hugely important. So of course there was then getting more prints made from that supplier. But I also want to point out as well, I started the business during COVID.
Yeah.
I, like many people, was out of work, but I didn't get furloughed. They just expected me to come back after absolute months of fucking £0. I had to watch it. I really had to watch it. So I knew I wanted to start a business and I knew it wanted to be that year. I didn't want to put it off even though I didn't have much money. There was a point where I did completely run out of money. I don't mind saying that. There was one night I had to borrow a £5 off my dad to go and get a tub of Ben and Jerry's from the shop because I was just so sad.
Oh.
I remember that succinctly and thinking this is a new low.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people were in the same boat as well.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I did completely run out of money. So it did have to stand still a bit until I got another part-time job that was using the money from that to invest back into the business. Now, some people might see that as a flop, but how am I supposed to get a business up and running
Yeah. Without capital.
without capital?
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, I was looking for the word then. You've impressed me. Yeah, it's always going to be money out before money in.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be the other way around, I think.
Yeah.
So I spent a long time sort of clawing my way back to what I would consider financially stable. Again, that'll be different things to different people.
Yeah.
That'll be a different figure for
Yeah.
different people. That was hard at the time, but there was some comfort in knowing that a lot of people were in the same boat. There were some people that were absolutely sound during COVID and just saw it as a bit of time off, still got paid or furloughed or whatever, but some of us really struggled financially. And, with the fact that there was a virus that we didn't know how much damage
you could
it would
die
do
at
as
any
well.
minute.
Yeah. There was that. So there was a perk in that sense that I also wasn't spending as much in my personal life because there was no need
You couldn't go to the pub. And,
I couldn't go to the pub, exactly. So there was no sort of going out money.
Yeah.
Petrol, if you remember, was
Yeah.
cheaper than ever around that time. So keeping the car running was no problem at all. But I had to get a day job to support it.
Yeah.
And even now, that's still the case.
Yeah.
I still need a day job to support it to amount to what is we'll probably class as a full-time income, but it's certainly more manageable for me.
Yeah.
Now, I say for me, I still live at home. I've got no intention of going anywhere, to be honest. And I know I'm 28, but I don't give a shit who makes what of that. I've got no intention of going anywhere. I do not think I'd do well on my own.
Oh.
I'm a danger to myself. Like, if I fell down the stairs one night, who's going to ring an ambulance for me?
That's true, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've got absolutely no interest in them. I don't have a partner.
Yeah.
So how am I even going to look at the property ladder, let alone touch it or be on it?
Yeah.
No,
you are right.
that works for me. That's what I'm saying. So the money I get from part-time day job plus the money that I make from my self-employment, most of the time it will amount to a full wage. On a good month, way more. Nice little bonus for me. On a bad month, the business costs me. I don't mind saying it does.
But that day job keeps you ticking over.
Ticking over. That's when the day job money goes back into the business to make up for the business when the business is slow.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So with your startup costs, let's work on the assumption.
Sorry, I went well ahead then, didn't I? I told you about everything up till now.
Right, let me just backtrack to startup costs, Sally. Let's work on the assumption that you're going to do everything yourself. You've got no accountant, no branding expert, social media team, etc.
The way most of us are. Yeah.
So you've bought your materials, you've made the products, and now you need somewhere to sell them. So if you want to sell online, you'll either need to set up a website or go on something like Etsy.
Yes.
Folksy, whatever else there is. Those things are going to cost you. So I think for me, I had a website up until very recently, and I think that cost me £20 a month for the website and like £50 a year for the domain name.
Okay.
which doesn't sound a lot, but that's just so to get your things on the internet. Do you know what I mean?
It's for a service.
Yeah, you've still got to like promote it and do all the work on it and stuff.
It's almost a factor into your product costs, really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think most people will go down like the Etsy route, especially at first, because you haven't always got that following to get people to your website. Etsy charges, is it like 20p per listing?
You said it was 16 when I started. I'm sure it was
Was it?
16. I missed a trick. I remember apparently there was a thing where you could get your first 20 listings free. I just missed that completely. I just didn't do enough research. But even I remember thinking like, 20p a listing, that's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
It stacks up though, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And especially when like the listing only lasts for X amount of months and then you've got to renew it.
Can I just tell us a quick story about this? I'm off topic. I didn't do that. I didn't do the auto renew.
Oh no.
And I remember saying to a lady at the studio, I was like, my sales have been really quiet for a while.
Ellie.
I was like, my Etsy doesn't do, fucking wonders anyway, but like this is quiet. And she went, oh no, I'm sure it's just like a quiet time. And I ended up like looking into it. They fucking expired. I hadn't renewed them.
Oh, Ellie, no.
Yeah, click auto renew. That's my little tip for that
please
one.
click auto renew. So yeah, I whatever they charge, 16p a listing, whatever it is. And then I think they take 6.5%
Oh, this is
of
gone
anything
up
you
over the
sell.
years. Yes.
And then like a processing fee of like 4% or something.
There is a processing fee. There's also a VAT, isn't there?
I think so, yeah.
Yes,
And I
and
think they
like-
take a percentage off your postage now as well.
A relisting fee too, is that
Yes.
right? So like a fee for them to generate that again, but take the quantity
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I would still say probably overall, having had Etsy and my own website, I would still say Etsy's probably cheaper.
Okay.
But it depends like how many products you've got and stuff.
That could fluctuate as
Yeah.
well. Because I know that there's hidden fees now on Etsy that when I started didn't exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't tell you what they are because I feel like they just pull the names out the fucking arse
Yeah,
to name
yeah.
these charges. But
Yeah. I don't know how much Etsy's taken off me because I don't want to know.
yeah, occasionally I do go on to, the statements and the fees and the breakdown there, and I'm just like, I'll have a breakdown.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I was at a point where I was like, Etsy's taking, I know, a lot of money off me. I'll set up my own website. This was probably 4 years ago, maybe. I set up my own website and I thought, right, at the time I had like 10,000 Instagram followers. And I was like, surely that's enough to generate traffic to my own website.
okay.
And in theory it was, but it was so much work because I felt like I constantly had to be like, I've got a sale on, I've got a new product, here's a discount code, or
You've said that before, yeah.
And it's in the long run, like now I've recently closed my website down, I've just gone back to Etsy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just before Christmas I did that because it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much work.
Because aren't you also on Fair as well?
I am on Fair as well, yes. So Fair, for those of you who don't know, is it's a similar setup to Etsy in the way you list your products, but it's just for wholesalers. So people with retail shops can shop your work on Etsy and order wholesale. So you will lose potentially a little bit of money by selling at a wholesale price, but you can set like a limit so they have to order like 20 of this print or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They have to spend like £100 or whatever you set your limit to. So I would say that is good. And as far as I can remember, I think that was free to set up.
Yeah.
So that's beneficial.
So that's talking about rather being charged to sell your work.
Yes.
I don't have the exact figures. I thought I would somewhere, but I just cannot find them.
Make them up.
But I got the £300 grant just to try out suppliers. So obviously that was money given to me, I think by Arts Council.
Right.
I'm not quite sure, to be honest, because I got it through Hazelhurst. But I bought everything small quantities at first because I just didn't know how it was going to go. So things like order notes, envelopes. But I did remember thinking even at the time, God, there's so many costs here that I didn't think about. Cellophane, tissue paper, different sized envelopes, even down to stickers to write the addresses on, because I don't like marker pen on envelopes because I didn't like the idea if I write directly on the envelope and I fuck it up, that's an envelope wasted.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Even I overthought everything. But I want to say it was around about the £700 mark, even just to set up. And of course it takes a while to generate that back. You're not going to get it back overnight. But that's why things like break even exist. There's a point where you can break even. A lot of businesses do make a loss in their first year. That's something that's not spoke about too much because of all that capital and all that initial investment.
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone though, isn't it? But I think like all that stuff we've just mentioned, like packaging, postage, Etsy fees, that's
postage.
Yeah.
Oh man, I never realised.
Yeah. How much is a
Right,
fucking stamp?
Yes. But this was when I started. I do remember distinctly a first class stamp was, I think, 60p, something like that. When I started, definitely around the 60p mark. But you know, when you've just got in your head, like everybody sends out Christmas cards at Christmas in the post.
Yeah.
That'll cost 2 pence a stamp.
Yeah. No.
It's gone up so quickly, but I'm not going to do that rant today. I promise.
No,
I'm
not
going to
today,
save us all.
But yeah, all that stuff is just if you sell online.
Yeah.
If you want to sell at like markets, that's a whole nother range of costs, isn't it? You've got like not only like your fees for the actual market, like your table fee, but all the equipment, like your displays and your card machine.
The equipment.
Yeah.
I did decide, even though it was painful, to sit and work it out once. I really went for it with the market. But I also changed my mind a lot. Like, I wanted to change it up. So this bit of furniture that I'd spent 30 quid on. Yeah. Not much, really, but, you know, I'd used it twice before I went, no, I want to get some there. You know what I mean? You're not really, that's £15 to go there because I've used it in 2 markets. Do you know what I mean? I'm very much like that as well. Like, I try and change it up a fair bit. But I don't actually think I sit and have that comment. Can you afford that then?
Yeah,
I'm just all about the aesthetic of how it looks. I want it to look its best and I'm willing to spend to get it there.
Yeah.
I had to do 8 markets before I broke even on the stuff that I paid for.
And that's not including like the stuff you spent on products themselves.
No, actually. So it probably was more. Yeah, I'm going just off the equipment and stall fees and things like that. Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
It's a good point.
Yeah. Like it's expensive to set up, but even if you're like you and you want to change it up a lot, I think there's different ways you can do that without it being really expensive. You can just move things about and, you know, that kind of stuff.
Oh, I was ridiculous. Don't be me. I bought wooden boxes from Nobbycraft that were like £18 a box. But the reason they were 18 quid was because they were, I don't know how you say this, decoupage,
I think.
So I think because it was like a crafty thing that you can do with the kids, they whacked on the fucking price of it. Oh, well, £18 a box, but I just wanted a plain box that I could decorate myself. That's all I wanted. But
Oh, Ellie.
Ouch.
They had you off, mate.
Yeah.
Saw you coming.
They saw me coming. But they were just what I wanted. Yeah. So I thought, you know, I can't put a price tag on that. I can.
You can.
But I didn't.
But I think especially when you're trying to start up a business, you've got the momentum going and you've made the products and you want to just get it done. I want to start doing it now. I want to get my stuff online. I want to get into markets. So I felt anyway, like I was willing to spend anything.
Yes, I was.
Just to get it done now. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like you could have shopped around for boxes that weren't that much money.
I did.
Do you know
I couldn't find nothing. No, I am the queen of shopping round. Like I will. I couldn't find nothing. Okay, and my head once I got that idea in my head, like, I can decorate my own.
Yeah.
It was just, it had to be that. It had to be. I wouldn't have been able to sleep at night if I'd gone for something different that I didn't like as much. It's being a perfectionist can cost you.
Yeah. Yeah, it can. I mean, I wouldn't know. You've also got to take into consideration the things that you like give away for free, like little things that you don't really think about, like your business cards, thank you notes in your orders, bags at markets.
Yeah, things like I struggle with the thank you note thing because I knew I wanted it because I knew that the way I saw it was what would I like to receive from that person if I was ordering something off Etsy. And just a little thank you note I always think is a really nice touch.
Yeah, it is.
But I remember thinking like I sat and added up everything, like what every individual thing would be and how much profit I'd be making. So I like properly did the maths, but I also did a cash flow projection as well. So like an estimate of the money I'd make.
Right, okay.
But that's a guess.
Yeah.
It is a guess. It's guesswork. And on the whole, that's gone okay. I didn't do it for years and I let that drop. I did that to tick a box because I was doing business training. Yeah. But once I did it, I was like, okay, I understand this a little bit more, but it felt pointless based on a guess. Yeah. But it was more to give me an idea of how many prints would I have to sell to make back what I've spent on things like thank you notes, envelopes, cellophane, tissue paper, bags, that kind of thing. Yeah. We spoke about this a lot in the pricing episode, though. It's really important to know that. Yeah. Because otherwise you're at a loss, but not only are you at a loss, you will always be at a loss. Yeah.
And you might not even know you're at a loss.
No, you might if you're not.
If you're not paying attention to things.
If you're not paying attention to that as well, you're not gauging it. Because sometimes I can even just gauge it with things. Yeah. Where I know, that was worth it, that wasn't.
Yeah. You need to kind of, unfortunately, embrace your new role role as an accountant.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is,
God.
no.
Well, that's what this episode's about.
I was really like blasé about money when I first started the business, but you really need to be on top of it. Like the sooner you get used to it, the easier it's going to become. Like it sounds big and scary, but actually once you kind of get your head around it a little bit, it's okay.
What do you mean, handling money?
Yeah, handling money and like doing your accounts and all that kind of stuff. Like it all just feels a bit, it's very overwhelming.
Well, it's not the part we sign up to. I think
No.
a lot of people come into this because they say it's two sides of your brain, don't
Yeah.
they? And for us that are we left side of brain or
Yeah.
the ones that are more creative
Yeah.
side? We're not interested.
That right
in the
side's not
fucking-
doing anything, mate.
It's not doing anything. I'm not sure it's there.
No. And now you want me to do maths with it.
Yeah, but it's non-negotiable. You
Yeah.
have to. The only other option is to pay out and get an accountant.
Yeah.
And they cost a fucking
Yeah.
fortune.
And I think especially when you're starting out, unless you've got money in your pocket, like a back-in or something, you're
Bank
not.
accounts in 50 different
Yeah,
countries.
you're not getting an accountant. I'm sorry, you're not.
No, I think that I think that would be incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Actually, if you're running a small business at such a small scale,
Yeah.
to dish out on an accountant,
Yeah.
I really do. I think
Yeah.
it'd be beyond.
I think it's simpler than it seems.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
No, it's not. It's not
But-
pleasant. But when you say like when you put words on it, like my accounts or my tax return, that kind of shit, it sounds terrifying. But actually, what you need to do is just keep a note of what's going out and what's coming in.
Yes,
It's
is
that
it.
simple.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to do this episode, really, didn't we? Because we do it ourselves. We think, oh my God, I know I panicked over it, but I want to talk about that a lot today because this is the main thing that people want to
Yeah.
hear about. So the bulk of
Yeah.
the episode, I'm sorry, it will be about
Yeah.
tax returns.
Everyone fucking writes into us and says, please, will you talk about tax returns? Am I doing my tax return right? Nobody knows. Right, before we get into tax returns, Ellie,
Okay.
should we discuss?
Waiting before we talk about tax returns. I couldn't fucking wait. You've ruined it for me.
Sorry.
Your first year's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. We've said this through the whole way through this podcast. We've talked about a lot of mistakes that we've made. We've talked about things that might have worked by accident,
Yeah.
so that we weren't even conscious. And we've also talked about decisions that we made and we stand by.
Yeah.
Your first year, you're putting so much into a business that technically doesn't exist because you've still yet to make anything from it.
Yeah.
It's a huge risk. It's an investment. And if you come away from that first year with a loss, don't be disheartened.
No.
Because it might even be that you've not even had time to open up yet to be available to customers.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, that money still has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
As I say, some people's startup costs will be a lot higher than others, depending on what you do.
Yeah.
And, the scale of it and all sorts of things. Some people might go straight into having staff as well. We
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah.
If you run a physical shop, I'm sure that would be the case. Your first year is expensive,
Yeah.
basically. But expensive in itself can mean different things to different people. So what me and Jade might have seen as, oh yeah, that was,
Yeah.
I had to scrimp and save, I had to borrow a £5 off my dad for
Yeah.
a tub of ice cream. Do you know what I mean? It's subjective.
Yeah.
Another person might think, oh, I spent a few hundred, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We're not here to we're saying our side, basically, because
that's all we can ever
finances
do.
are a very personal thing that we can only talk about our own experiences.
Yeah.
But for us, the startup was spenny.
Yeah.
And just to touch on this as well, as I say, we're really conscious not to make this too similar. So we did an episode, it was episode 17. It was called Pricing, How to Charge When in Charge. And it was with Rachel from Pens and Needles. One of my favourite episodes, actually.
Yeah, it's
so we really went into it about pricing and profit margin. So if that is something that you are struggling with now, having been running the business, I'd definitely say go back and have a listen to that. I think it's important to reiterate again, though, that your business is your business and you're not a fucking charity.
Yeah.
I do think one of my strengths is keeping that at the forefront and not feeling in any way guilty
Yeah.
about that. Because sometimes when you mark up something, it can feel like, well, where have I got them numbers from?
Yeah.
What gives me the right to charge people
Yeah.
that? And that's your wage.
Yeah.
Like,
You
fuck
have
off.
to be confident in it. You deserve to make a living.
That's your wage. Imagine if you were working for somebody else
Yeah.
and they were like, well, what am I paying her that? Where have I got
Yeah.
that number from? Because that's fucking minimum wage.
Yeah.
You have to give me that. So we should do that for ourselves. We're
Yeah.
never going to do as much. I don't think anybody's ever whacked on national minimum wage
No.
for a product and how long it's taken. It's very
No.
rare that we
Yeah.
charge for our time. We spoke about that recently as
Yeah.
well. I think one of my strengths is not so much my accounting, because that's all over the place and we'll go into that in a bit, but I'm very good at weighing up the pros and cons and thinking of it as a financial business decision.
So, do you think there's a massive difference in our ingoings and outgoings? Me being full-time self-employed, you being part-time self-employed?
I don't know, because we don't really talk money,
We don't, do we?
we?
I think nobody does.
No. I know that, as I say, I always have to work a few hours a week
Yeah.
somewhere. I like the security.
Yeah.
So I don't
That's
like...
the thing. That's the biggest thing for me. It's
Yeah.
not knowing when the money's coming, where it's coming
Yes.
from. Yeah. I don't know if the money's coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that if, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the scary bit.
But I do think it's, if you're thinking of making those big decisions that will impact you financially, we've had people write in before and say, how do I know when it's time to go full time with my self-employment? And we can't answer that.
No.
We just can't, because we don't know how much money is coming in for you at the moment with your own business, with your full-time wage. We've got no idea.
No. And we also don't know what your outgoings are. If you've got
know
kids,
what
if you've got a mortgage.
Got kids, people that are financially dependent on you. It's not just yourself you've got to consider in that situation. Like, it's other people.
When I quit my job and went full-time with the business, I was in a very fortunate position that I was living with my parents and I had a partner who had a job.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a financial decision for me because I just thought it was an emotional decision. I was like, fuck it, this is what I want to do. The financial side didn't really cross my mind. Whereas if I had, proper rent to pay or a mortgage or children to look after, that would have had to come into account.
Yeah, it would have had to prioritise,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. I see a lot of people on social media as well that go back and forth.
Yeah.
Some do it full-time, some do it part-time, some will get more hours during quiet months. We need to break down the barriers and just go, that's all right, whatever works for you. For example, I remember talking about my ingoings to somebody once, and I was saying numbers, and they went, that's enough for a full-time, you've got nothing. They said to me, you've got nothing to worry about, basically. And I sort of went, well, no, if I'm saying that's not sustainable for me, then it's not sustainable
But
for
also
me.
they don't know what your outgoings are.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a bit like, that's the money coming in.
Yeah.
It's not the expenses.
And it's not everything has to be about like what you can afford to live on. You shouldn't need to feel like scraping by is the best you can do. If you want a spare £1,000 a month, you know what I mean? That's fine.
People my age save, because it happens that a lot of people around our age as well do save up to buy their own house.
Oh, the irony.
Whoops.
But do you know what I mean? Your comfortable might not be my comfortable.
Yeah,
and that's
sure
okay.
It wouldn't be,
that's fine.
But I looked at this friend and I was just like, I felt the need to defend myself.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm a high maintenance girl.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Look
No,
at
you're
me.
not.
You only need to look at me for 2 seconds to understand that I'm not high
you're
maintenance
not.
girly. But I smoke.
Yeah.
I like going out for a drink.
Yeah.
These are things I enjoy.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to cut them out.
I mean, I should.
I mean, you should. But you don't have to.
I don't want to.
You shouldn't have to for financial reasons.
I need those things. I run a small business.
I'm very stressed all the time.
Do you know what I mean, though? It's that money. So if a mate goes, do you want to go so-and-so?
Yeah.
Where I could just go, let's go.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
No,
Find
I
a day
agree.
when I'm not doing fucking work.
Yeah,
and
but
we'll
that's,
go.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the part of the reason you started a business, I'm sure, is because of that flexibility. To do these things, I want to be available when my friends like, let's go and do this. I want to be able to go on date nights with my boyfriend. I want to be able to have a Monday off to do nothing if I want. But if then you haven't got the money to do any of those nice things that you want to do, it's pointless, isn't it?
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does.
It does. Yeah, you're right. It does, yeah.
It does.
It does. I'd be so much happier if I was minted.
Yeah, but that's another side of it as well, though, because sometimes I do think this. People that are so rich that they never want for nothing.
Yeah.
People like the royal family.
Yeah.
They don't need to work ever again. Where do you get that satisfaction?
Yeah.
Because for me, when I sell something that I've made and I make money, that's a huge fucking buzz for me. They'll
And even,
never
like,
experience
the
that.
other side of it, like spending money that you've earned on something you really want, like, oh, I've saved up for that and I really want it and I've wanted it for years and now I finally got it.
Yeah.
They never have that feeling because they just have whatever they want all the time.
Yeah. So I think there really is pros and cons to everything to do with money.
Yeah.
People say it's the root of all evil, don't they?
Yeah.
So to summarise that bit as well as, we have had this question a fair bit as well. And again, it's one that it doesn't make us uncomfortable because we want people to feel like they can ask us whatever.
Yeah.
But we can't really answer, is it worth me going full-time questions like that because it's so dependent on you, your circumstances. For me, I have a part-time job alongside my self-employment. I enjoy that balance. For the most part, I might look for something that's a bit less hours.
Yeah.
I might try and lean more towards the self-employment. It's always a fine balancing act for me, and I need to find that when I've got a day job I fucking love, which I've had before, and I didn't really mind giving more of my time because I liked it so much.
Yeah.
But my whole life was small business basically back then, and I love that. But at the same time, it was a lot because I had a bit more of a senior role in that job, being that it was a small business.
Yeah.
It wasn't my small business, but I still had more senior role. There was a very small group of us, so everybody was quite important.
Right.
But if you've got a full-time job, something that you've trained in, something that's making you a salary, we cannot answer that question of, when's the time to walk away? Because it could be never, and that's okay. It doesn't make your business any less.
No.
And it's whatever money you can get by on, but you not just get by, but live.
Actually
I shouldn't say get by, I
Yeah.
should say live. Because you want to live your life, first and foremost. You want to do things things that make you happy.
Yeah.
And for those that are full-time as well, and as in self-employed full-time, if that's working for them, fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
You've achieved your dream.
Yeah.
Yay.
And if it's not working for you and actually you hate being full-time self-employed, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Get a part-time job.
Like I say, I've seen-
everyone's different, aren't
Everyone's different, and I've seen lots of people who've tried it and done different things at different times and gone back to work, have quit work, of whatever.
Yeah.
No one should ever judge you for that.
No.
The only person that'll think about that is you.
Yeah.
No one's going to judge you.
I've had so many small business owners say things like, "Oh, it's not really a business," or like,
We heard a lot of it here,
"Yeah,
actually, haven't we?
it's just really part-time," and stuff like that. And I just feel like you're putting yourself down because you're doing a full-time job as well, but it's fine.
And I know for a fact that there's been times where day jobs weighed heavy on me.
Yeah.
And it's been hard to switch between those two brains as well. So even that takes time to adjust sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely does.
So there's no right or wrong. No one is better or worse than the other. I've never felt like anybody's ever tried to imply that I haven't made it because I'm not full time. I don't necessarily want to be, not just because of money. That is a factor, and I'll be very honest and say that's a factor, but I get too in my own head. It begins to feel like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, you need something else to think
I
about.
need something else to break it up, to get me out of the zone for a bit.
Yeah. Right.
We put it off long enough.
I know we'll do absolutely anything to not talk about this.
Can we just waffle for like 10 more minutes? Oh, God.
Right. So many people ask us to talk about tax returns, self-assessment, all these big, horrible, scary things. We did touch about it a tiny bit, didn't we? We touched on it.
I don't want to talk about it.
We have to!
No. So we did get a question quite early on, and we just didn't want to ignore it because the podcast was still quite new. And we thought, no, we want to answer everybody's question.
Yeah.
We're not going to fucking fob anybody off. We did get a question about tax return, and we attempted to
did.
answer that in, it was episode 8, which was called Dream Big. We were joined by Tony, TLC Illustration, who thankfully is a friend. However, she was also there to witness my meltdown.
Yeah.
I don't know quite how I talked myself into that, but I did.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy that.
No, I had a sweat on. I went red. Do you remember it?
Yeah, you did.
I got angry for some reason. I don't know who at. Not Jade or Tony.
Not even at the person that asked the question.
No.
Just generally, you were fuming.
It got my back up. I went red. I started sweating. I looked like Alan Carr on The Traitors by the time I finished answering, if I did answer it, that question. It felt like an attack.
You literally did, yeah. Did you? Right. We just have to do it.
Okay.
We have to, I'm sorry.
I'm going to keep my composure.
So, like I said before, unless I'm doing it massively wrong, I think it's just as simple as keeping track of what's coming in and what's going out.
I also think that.
Okay.
But
Then two of us got me wrong, right?
Paranoid bit of me.
Yeah. So I actually, don't come for me, but I actually think every time I do a tax return, I'm like, that was too easy.
Really?
Yeah. And I think I must be doing it wrong because everybody says it's the hardest thing.
Right, okay, so I do disagree with that, but we'll talk about this. But I think it is money in versus money out, and I think it's as simple as that for us. I think it's the same, unless you're VAT registered, I'm assuming that is the same form for even a medium-sized company or a large-sized company. Well, large would be VAT registered, but it's the same form. There's an awful lot of it that doesn't apply to us.
There's a lot of it you
think
can just
that's
kind of
what
delete and move
trips
past.
us up. But I said to my dad, because my dad ran a care agency, so I'll be completely honest, I have wussed out of this for year after year after year. I have.
But you were very brave this year.
I was. Well, we'll go into that as well. But I give him the statements. He does the maths and the form. I just didn't want to deal with any. I was scared of doing it wrong on my first year, and it just became a bit of a pattern where I was like, Dad, if I pay you, because that's what he does now. He doesn't own that care agency anymore. Of course, he's used to doing tax returns with them, but he now does accounts and things for and payroll as well for charities and CICs.
Okay.
So it's something that he just does on the side for other businesses. So I'm very small fish for him.
Yeah.
So keeping track of money in versus money out. As I say, I'm very good at knowing what I've spent on something and what I need to make back in order to make a profit. So I'm good at profit margins.
Yeah.
I am good, and I'm confident now, that my business, it's as I say, it's not a charity.
Yeah.
I do make profit. And that's nothing to be ashamed of either. That's the whole fucking point.
That's the point.
Yeah. I did everything very by the book to start with, and almost too much.
Right.
So every email, order confirmation, invoice that I got, I'd print out and I'd keep in a little file and write a little note to myself saying what it is, when the order was placed, when the money left my account, how much it was, everything. And it was overkill.
Yeah.
It was overkill. And at first, when the business wasn't actually up and running, I was doing that. Of course, that was fine. I had time to do that. But once the business was up and running and sales were happening and things were happening, I was moving in different directions, just doing other things. What do you know? I got a bit fucking bored.
Yeah. I'm sure you did,
Yeah. I would print out, the Etsy statement of fees.
Stop it.
I would.
No.
And who the fuck can make sense of that?
Nobody.
It's just a big list that goes minus 4p, minus 17p, minus plus this, minus that. It's a processing fee, VAT, whatever, all these little hidden charts. I didn't know what any of that meant.
No.
I knew it because I'd written it down. I'd used Etsy fee calculators and worked that out. So I knew to factor that into my costs.
Yeah.
So I was smart in that sense. But I didn't know what any of that shit meant, really. But I pretended I did.
Yeah.
And I think that led to almost like a financial burnout of just, I can't keep track of this, it's too much. And now, the way I do it, so when I bought something, I will make a note the day that I bought it in a diary.
Right, okay.
And I made a joke about this in episode 8, but it is genuinely the way I do things. I use a colour-coded pen. So if it's in red, it's money that's left my account.
Yeah.
And then obviously keep track of that. Any receipts for anything that you've bought physically, in a shop, of course, keep them, file them away somewhere, and then forget where you put it and panic in January. That's the way I like to do things. But yeah, I write down in a diary when I bought something, and that just so that I can reference back when it comes time for that. So I'm not confused more than anything. Because say I've spent £20 on Amazon for packaging, whatever that may be, cellophane bags or something.
Yeah. That just comes on your bank statement as Amazon.
Yeah. So it's this whole tracing back, whereas if I can just look at the diary and go, oh no, that was for carbon, then obviously if I need to, download the invoice and
that's a good
keep
idea.
a proper file of it. But HMRC will not ask you
No,
for,
they fucking won't.
unless you were investigated.
Yeah, which is very, very, very unlikely.
Have you ever been?
No.
I haven't been either. Touch wood.
Yeah, I think unless you're doing something incredibly dodgy or you're earning loads and loads and loads and loads of money, nobody's probably going to investigate you. It's very,
Well,
very...
it's not even that you're earning loads, is it? It's that
No.
a lot's going out, but
yeah.
nothing's coming in.
Yeah,
That's
it's that
what's
one,
going to trigger that.
But I think, who's at that point running a small business?
If you're doing everything legit, you've got
nothing to hide.
But we all convince ourselves.
I know.
that
It's
we've
like
got
when you
fucking
go through the
offshore
airport.
accounts to
Yeah.
be done.
It's like when you go through the airport and you're like, shit, have I got cocaine up my bum?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. And you know you haven't.
Yeah, when a policeman walks past your shit, have I got a gun in my pocket?
You haven't done anything wrong. It's fine.
Yeah, unless you are, you're fine. But we go into this sort of mode of, oh God, what if I am doing it wrong? What if I'm doing is illegal? It's not. But what if it is? The thing that I think where we should be careful, there's always a list that you can find, and I believe it is on HMRC, of what you can offset against tax.
Yes.
Don't take the fucking
No, don't
piss.
take the piss.
I've known people that have.
Yeah.
And I've sort of gone, are you fucking kidding me, really?
Yeah.
You've claimed that back.
Yeah.
There was a whole scandal about it as well, wasn't there? One time with MPs.
Peas.
MPs.
Oh, with them peas, I thought you said.
No, with MPs. Do you remember the expenses scandal?
Yes.
If I remember that, you do.
Yeah.
People
All right.
people like claiming back Kit Kats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That emotional support bag of Maltesers that I bought to get me
Unfortunately,
through.
I've just got to pay for
when
that.
when I'd left market prep too last minute. I can't claim that back. I want to, but I know I can't. It's taking the piss. No. Ask yourself honestly, is this a piss take?
Yeah.
I really do think the vast majority of us aren't doing that.
No, I
Nowhere
do.
near.
So, as someone who on their own did the tax return for the first time this year, Ellie.
Yes, so that's worth mentioning as well. This year, I put on my big girl pants and I thought, my dad's not going to be around forever.
I've got to learn to do it
I
at some
need to learn
point.
to do this. So I did all the maths. I used a spreadsheet.
She did.
I did.
I'm so proud of you.
I did. I hated it, but I loved
know.
it. I love learning it. I like learning all the formulas and things. I still hate how fucking tiny the boxes are. There's no way to zoom in on a spreadsheet.
No, you can't.
Don't try and tell
zoom
me
in.
that there is.
You can make
one,
the
'cause there
boxes
isn't.
bigger, but you can't really zoom in.
You can make the boxes bigger.
Well, you can make each column and each row like wider.
Oh, wider.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want wider. I just want bigger for my blind.
No, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I know, I'm sorry.
But no, I did use a spreadsheet because I did notice I tried to avoid the spreadsheet for as long as possible. And then I was adding up the ingoings and I did it 3 times to check my maths, and 3 times I got a different number.
Yeah.
Apparently I don't know how to use a calculator either.
That's okay. So what I said before about always thinking like, why does everyone think this is so hard? As someone that did it for the first time, what was the hard bit? Was it doing the maths or was it filling out the form?
I can tell you.
Okay.
Right, so my review of doing my
yes.
ever tax return it was checked over by my dad, by the way.
0 stars, would not recommend.
it was checked over by my dad, but it was completely done by me this time.
Yeah.
There was no help whatsoever. The thing I struggled with most, obviously, spreadsheets, I haven't used them since school.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, what the fuck? But once I'd got my head around that, I quite enjoyed it. I dare say that it did make it easier.
Yeah.
I still like the little pen method I
Yeah.
liked. But even that, I was still inputting those numbers off things I'd written down.
Yeah.
I am a pen and paper girly. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. When I see something there in my own handwriting, I am so much more likely to understand
Yeah.
it. It's the weirdest thing. By far, the worst thing was that fucking form.
Okay.
I think it's designed to be
It is.
confusing.
It is. And I think that's why people get scared.
Yeah, it's
I
scary.
think it's because it's so many things and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I don't know the answer to this. And then, so I when I was doing the actual tax return, like the form, Kyle, my partner, was sitting with me. And every page I was like, Kyle, I don't know what this means. And he was like, that's not applicable to you. Kyle, I don't know what this means. That's not applicable to you. There's so much of it that you don't need to fucking answer.
That's what my dad was
So
doing as well. He
much
was
of it.
going, yeah, it's not applicable to you.
Yeah, but I think that's what scares you because it's massive. The form's so long, but so much of it isn't relevant.
I honestly think the questions are badly worded. Not all of them. There's some really simple questions.
It's like they want you to struggle.
I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head, but
We should have done a live episode doing our tax returns.
no.
Maybe next year.
You're on your own. There's questions like, do you give to charity? First question, name. I'm not going to
I can do that.
I can do that.
Tick.
You lure me into a false sense of security.
Oh, I've got this.
NI number. I fucking know that one.
Got you.
I got that written down somewhere on a post-it note. I've been practicing that one since I was 16.
I was born for this.
How should we do a shake? No, it hasn't. This is great.
Day of birth.
That first page
Yeah.
really does lure you into a false sense of security, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You think, oh, piece of piss.
Yeah. And then it starts like wanting to know how much money you've made.
What the fuck is cash basis?
Nobody knows.
No one knows. But you know what gets me as well? Like I say, questions like, do you give to charity?
Yeah.
I went to my dad, but I do give to charity.
Yeah.
This was a couple of years back, so I'm not. This sounds really self-righteous.
I don't give to charity anymore.
Hear me out. There's no way to not sound self-righteous when I say this, but I do give a portion of my sales to charity, of my online sales. I always have.
What a good person.
No, fuck off.
Oh, Ellie. If only we could all be more like Ellie. No, go on.
Do you want to do this
No,
episode
come
on
on,
your fucking own?
please, come on. Tell me.
But I do it because I think it's a nice gesture.
Yeah.
And I also try and do, so the people I draw, I try and do charities that they support themselves.
Oh, that's actually really sweet.
And
yeah.
just sort of, because I am very aware that I'm sort of making money off the name.
Yeah, fair point, yeah.
I think it's a nice
Fair,
gesture.
yeah.
But I remember the first time I saw that on the form, and obviously my dad was filling out the form, and
Yeah.
I remember just sort of looking over his shoulder. I said, do you give to charity? And he went, it makes it so complicated.
Yeah.
He said, it's not worth it. He said, I promise you.
Yeah.
He said, for your sales and the amount that you give to charity. And I was like, for my sales, you cheeky fuck. But he's right, in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
I am very small fish.
Yeah.
So he's right, it's not worth it to go down that route.
No.
So I still do donate to charity. It's not a case of I
Yeah.
was doing it to offset it against
Yeah.
tax. I wasn't. But,
Doing it for the tax
but I
break.
just wanted to answer that question honestly.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, it just makes it so much more complicated. So I just take no for that one. But yeah, the cash basis question, I mean, that was one that really fucking tripped me up. But what gets me is the explanations.
Yeah.
Are potentially even worse.
Yeah.
So there's one where you click on it, and I'm really sorry, I can't remember the question, but it does it like a maths question. It's something like, Tony has 500 quid and he invested 300. And I'm like, don't do this to me. If I couldn't do it 10 years ago, I can't do it now. You're making it worse. Please send me the link to a YouTube video where I can watch and someone can explain to me in fucking pidgin English what it means. I need you to spell this out for me.
Yeah.
I need HMRC for thickos.
Yeah.
I really do.
That is what we need.
But do you know what's something I struggle with? And this is really a me problem. And I've always known it was a me problem. I'm not a big reader. I'm really not. I can't read.
I'm not a big reader.
No.
I don't enjoy reading.
No.
I find it very hard to like take in the words.
I know what you mean about taking it in, but my problem is I don't know if it's an attention span thing. I skim the words and try and almost visualise what that sentence is.
Yeah.
So
I'll
I try
make it up.
guess the question based on the words that I've seen. I take the key words and I try and piece together the rest of it in my head rather than just reading it.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
Right, so I'm going to give an example. Is on the way here, I get Merseyrail.
Yeah.
And I was sat opposite a sign, and it was the shortest sign. And this is what I mean. None of these questions on that tax return form are particularly long, are they?
They're not pages and pages.
Relatively short questions. But I'm a bugger for skimming things. So I was sat on the train, and I saw a sign that I read as, if you're having a bad day or you're just not feeling right, contact this, and then Merseyrail's contact details. And I thought, that's weird. I didn't realise there was some sort of support service for people.
What did it actually say?
I was thinking, if I'm having a bad day, I can contact Merseyrail. What
That's
are they
nice of
gonna
them,
do?
isn't it?
Are they not sort of...
They're busy.
That's why the trains are always late.
Too busy doing counselling.
No, it actually said, if you think I'm not looking my best or I'm having a bad day, contact such and such. It meant the train.
Oh, Ellie. Read it.
I nearly missed me stop then.
Because you're on the phone to them like, I am having a bad day, actually.
I've just done my text.
Oh, Ellie.
Yeah, this is what I mean, skimmy things. But the confusion that causes,
It was longer
I could
than
have
if I
read that
just read
question
it.
10 times in
Yeah.
that time.
You
But
silly cow.
yeah, I'm a bugger for skimming
Oh, Ellie.
reading. You can't really afford to do that. But
No.
it's genuinely like I have to sit in a room, no one around
Yeah.
me. And
See,
really
to be fair,
concentrate.
I don't do that, but I do struggle to like read. Like I don't take the words in properly, which I think is why when it actually comes to in the form, I have Kyle with me, and I'm like, I don't know what that says. And he's like, have you read it? And I'm like, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. And then he'll say it out loud, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah, haven't
Do you know what I
someone,
mean?
like repeat it back. That's
Yeah.
like body doubling though, really,
Yeah,
isn't it?
kind of. I think I just need it like, if there was like a bit, there probably is a bit for like, where they would like read it to you from the page. You know, like for deaf, no, not for deaf people, for blind people maybe.
I imagine there would be.
I think that might be a better option for me.
Oh, is there like a little speaker
No,
button?
there must be, mustn't they?
Have we
'Cause,
both just missed it?
like blind people must have to do the tax returns.
Yeah, anyone.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there must be.
Stevie Wonder does tax return, I'm
Yeah.
sure of it.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he has an accountant, but I'm sure he does it.
You think you can afford an accountant? Yes.
And I mean, like, if HMRC aren't doing that, then why the fuck aren't they doing
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I might look into that because I think if they read it to me, I might get it better.
But I just hate the explanations.
Yeah.
And I even, because obviously this is the first form I'd filled in myself, I went on to, I think it was Reddit.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
The first form I'd filled in. I've never had to do a form before.
I'm going to tell you something though. This is really off topic.
Was it the first form you filled in?
Have I ever told you this before? You know, college enrollment forms. It's just so embarrassing.
Oh my God, tell me.
My college enrolment forms. I was the only person who enrolled without a parent there. I noticed that on the day. I was the only person that didn't have like the mum or the dad
Yeah.
or at least somebody
Yeah.
with them. And I thought, oh God, do I need them? And it turned
Yeah.
out I didn't. I just had like a 3-page form to fill in.
Yeah.
But on my first day of college, I got pulled out and told that there was a problem with my forms. And I was like, shit. And they went, oh no, it's nothing bad. But you know when you can tell they're
Yeah.
trying not to laugh.
Oh no.
For emergency contact, I put 999.
To be fair, that is who I want them to call.
I was like, it's the best one there is.
I mean, you could try Merseyrail.
I really just need a family member. Like mum, dad, anything.
No, if something happens, phone an ambulance.
Oh, when you're like fucking 16.
Oh, Ellie. You're so cute. I can't go. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think my problem here is just forms in general.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was the form thing for me. Like I said, I was very anti-spreadsheet, which if you go back to episode 8, you'll know that.
Not a spreadsheet girly, are you?
No. I'm still not. I
Should we
don't
talk
enjoy
about
it.
the spreadsheet a little bit?
Okay.
I don't want to like big up my spreadsheet.
It's very good.
But
To be fair, I messaged Jade one night, and this was the night that I tried to add something up myself and got 3 different figures every time. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's my fingers are too fucking fat for the calculator. So like I think I'm pressing a 2, but I'm actually pressing a 2, a 5, a 7.
yeah, you need like a big, like a computer-sized
Yeah,
calculator.
I need like a jumbo one where the numbers are a little bit further apart.
Yeah. But yeah, the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So Ellie messaged me this evening in particular where she couldn't do the calculator, and she said, have you got a spreadsheet that you normally use?
Did you get the vibe? I was stressed.
Yeah, I thought, oh my God, she wants a spreadsheet. She's having a fucking crisis. This girl will never ask me for a fucking spreadsheet. So I knew something was up, obviously. So I sent her the spreadsheet. So basically, if anyone is in the situation that Ellie was in, let's say what's on the spreadsheet, maybe? Yeah. I'm not saying it's the right way to do things because, again, nobody fucking knows.
It was so simple though. So there was top bits were just
And again, you don't even need to do it like that. All HMRC are asking for is your ingoings and your outgoings, really. But what I do is like all the different incomes that I have and all the different outgoings that I have.
yeah, so consistent ones that come out every month.
Yeah. So like I know what I've made from markets. I know what I've spent on markets. I know what I've made from Etsy. I know what that kind of thing.
Month by month
Yes,
as well. You
yeah.
divvy it up into
So
months,
it's more
don't you?
that the spreadsheet's more for me than it is for my actual tax. But I actually find it really useful because at the end of the year I can go, oh, actually I haven't made any money from Etsy this year, so that's probably not even worth doing.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
It allows you to reevaluate
Yeah,
it a little bit.
yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I did like that actually because you know what? Doing that, what come as a massive shock to me, and this is how fucking goody two shoes I am. The fact that it went on the spreadsheet and therefore went in the form.
Ooh.
How much cash I take at markets.
Oh, good girl.
I was really surprised at how much it was.
Yeah.
So there was some where I was looking at my card machine sales, and obviously, you know, when it's a market that was like maybe like 9 months ago, you can't
Yeah.
quite remember
Yeah.
it on the day. But I remember looking at my card machine sales and going, swear that was a good market.
Yeah.
That was a good market. But that card machine, the total that's come in from a card machine there isn't great.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, fucking hell, have the fees gone up or something? Then
Yeah.
I looked into it and I looked down at the breakdown because I do log every sale in my card reader, even if it's cash.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So on my Zettel app on my phone,
Yeah.
I'll log it. And it was a good market day.
Yeah.
It was just all cash.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah.
And I declared it.
Well done. She's a good
I
girl.
know.
She doesn't want any investigations here.
HMRC, you've got nothing to see. Move
Yeah.
on.
So what I do to like take note of what's going on now, like you said before, you keep your receipts and you used to print all your receipts and shit like that. I literally just go through my bank statement at the end of the month and put it all into the spreadsheet.
Issue with that.
Why?
Right.
So I am doing it wrong.
No, it's just that it might be that you're not declaring all your outgoings. The way I see that is, say, for example, okay, this is actually a good example. When we started doing the podcasts and stuff, we needed folders and things and staplers and weird little stationery bits to keep all the stuff in. So we needed folders, even plastic wallets to put in the folders. We needed pens, things like that. Just shitty
But
little
if we
bits.
bought them from Amazon, my bank statement just says Amazon.
Well, not just that, but I went out and got that, and it was from B&M.
Yeah, you
how am I
did.
supposed to know?
Yeah.
If it
what
comes
you
on
bought from B&M
B&M?
12 months ago.
You know what I mean? It could be anything. It's
yeah.
B&M.
Yeah, it could be anything.
I mean, obviously that's when you keep your receipts, isn't it? And you know, you have to make a log of that somewhere. Can I give a little bit of advice for that as well?
Yes, please.
I tried this year because I've noticed a problem. My eyes aren't very good. I'm going to blame that for why I struggle with the form, but it's not. It's 'cause I can read, I just don't read. But my eyes aren't great, so if something's faded, I really struggle to read it. Receipts fade over time.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long for them to fade. Photocopy them.
Oh, that's good.
I
tip,
tried this year hairspraying them in the hopes
I do
that...
remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, in the hopes that they still did a little bit. It still wasn't very readable. But I think a receipt in general, it's not the most easiest thing to read if you've got problem eyes like I have. So I photocopy them and just make them slightly bigger on the photocopier.
Yeah, that's really good. Good tip, Ellie.
Thank you.
Top tip. But yeah, I just go through my bank statement, and then if I take cash at a market, I'll just make note of the cash for tax purposes. In case the taxman's listening.
Wink, wink. I definitely make note of the cash. No, Mr. Taxman.
I don't want to get in
I
trouble.
haven't seen a £5 note in my life. I haven't touched cash since I was 12. A 50p coin, never seen one.
I know, but I don't want to get in trouble. What if he listens, Mr. Tax?
I'm really messing, Jay. Do know it. Do not. That's the most pointless thing to do on a podcast.
Yes, I do know. Cash.
She can't even remember the words.
No, I don't know.
I should work for
Cash.
HMRC. I tell you what, if they're
I know.
hiring, just come and get me.
Ooh, you'll weasel out the baddies, won't you? So yeah, I just go through my bank statement at the end of each month, and if I make cash at a market, I'll note the cash down. I don't bother. I should really be doing like when I'm spending, what I'm spending it on. So really my outgoings for my tax are just like market fees and when I've spent on like products and materials, because I know they come from like a specific website.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean? So that website will show up on my bank statement, but I hadn't thought about when I spend at like B&M or...
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's when you have to, if you spent it at a physical shop, especially a shop like that, that sells so many different things.
So I'm actually skinter than I thought.
Yeah. Hate to break it to you.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even close to having to pay tax, but now I'm definitely not even. So yeah, vaguely that's how we do a tax return, I guess. Anything else to say about tax returns, Ellie?
Well, no, but I get it though. You know, when people, like, I saw a post recently and somebody was like, I can't open my parcels until I've done my tax return.
Yeah.
Like, that'll be my reward.
That's fair.
And it is definitely, because I think for us as well, creative people, we forget that those forms are tailored towards businesses doing much, have much more ingoings and outgoings than we do, much larger businesses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That form is not tailored towards us, it's tailored towards everybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's optional as well, and it's like, you overthink it. I think, is it optional to catch me out?
Yeah,
You know,
are they trying to trick me?
Yeah, but if somebody told me if it's optional, don't fucking do it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I think we overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
Most definitely. But do I think that form could be fucking simpler? Yes.
Yes, it could. It could. I think it's a lot of like, it's like accountant jargon, isn't it? That's why. And I'm not built for that. I don't know what you mean. What are you saying? Say it to me in English. But I think it's scary and it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
And I also think it's that thing of like, if I get it wrong, they're going to come for me.
Yeah.
So if I press the wrong answer to one thing, like...
Well, it's worth noting actually, if you do tick an option on the form that looks, I don't know what the word is, out of sync with other things, that just a warning thing pops up telling you to go back to it because it might look suspicious. So there was one question that I didn't understand at all. I can't remember which one it was actually. I think it was something to do with pension.
Right.
Because I have a pension.
Yeah.
Through working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got confused on a pension question. So I just sort of guessed it. But then they were like, oh, that doesn't seem right based on the information that you've given us. And a warning came up.
Oh, that's really good to know.
Yeah. Can I just have a quick rant about pensions?
Yeah, go on.
Why am I paying into one?
You've opted in at some point, I imagine.
I don't think I did.
Oh, then I don't know. Maybe it's just mandatory.
I looked into it and I'll have to be 68 to retire.
Yeah.
I found it because I didn't even know where it was. I knew I was paying into a pension, but I didn't know where it was at all. So I sort of went through the big providers and I found it. And like $3,000 had whacked up and I thought, but I want that now.
Yeah, no, same. So I had one.
hate it.
I've got one sitting there with like 300 quid in, which I know isn't a lot of money. But sometimes I'm really just like, I could really do with 300 quid. And that's mine and I want it now.
Only when you're 68.
I won't need it when I'm 68, will I?
I think I'll live till 68.
No, same. I want it now.
We've been through the fact that I like to go out and have a drink and I've been smoking for a while. It's unlikely.
Give it me now and I can enjoy it.
Maybe for a good time, not a long time. So to wrap it up, once and for all, and never talk about it ever again.
Yeah, this is the only chance we'll ever get to talk about tax returns.
We hate it and it's horrible. And it's the fact that they're telling you to do something by a deadline as well.
Yeah.
I hate the deadline.
Yeah. Don't put pressure on me. Right, should we talk about something that's not tax returns? I don't care what.
I mean, it's going to have to be money because that is sort of what the episode's title is, ×3. But so something that I find that it can be quite disheartening as well, a tax return, because you finally see it all laid out, your whole tax year laid out for you in front of you. And sometimes it can be a little bit disheartening as well. Sometimes you get the impression that you've made more than you actually have.
Yeah.
You might have that, you might not. But can we talk about loss? Because sometimes it's a big scary word, but things cost.
Yeah, they do.
And you have to spend to make it in a business.
Yeah.
One thing that my dad always says to me, always to the point where it gets on my fucking tits, but he has ran a successful medium-sized business for a number of years. Yeah. He goes, whenever I whinge about anything, so when we were doing Red Brick, I remember I was concerned about how much money that was going out. I knew that in future that would bring money in, but at the time it can still be a little bit of a pinch, can't it? Yeah. And he was going, speculate to accumulate. You've got to speculate to accumulate. I have heard that I reckon I hear it about 7 times a
He is right. He is right.
You have to spend to gain to shorten that down. But it is something I always complain about. And I don't mind saying that my last tax returns for the first quarter of 2025, absolute shit show on paper.
Right.
But I just signed up for more shops.
Yeah.
I spent 2025 with that as my focus of getting into more shops.
Yeah.
And I'd signed up to a couple
Yeah.
that I had to brace myself for January to early April.
Yeah.
One being yours, actually. So all the money for the stocks going out, massive print order,
Yeah.
huge, bigger than any I think I've ever placed in
Yeah.
6 years. Of course, with that, loads of packaging. Cardboard costs a fucking fortune. But, you know, packaging, cellophane, stickers, you know, even down to logo stickers, boxes to ship it in.
Yeah.
Even things like that, shitty little things, it all costs. It's what you have to prep for in advance. So, therefore, my first quarter of 2025 was an absolute burning shit show on paper. And technically a loss.
Yeah.
And it was.
But in reality, you were prepping for all these big things.
Prepping for these big things, yeah. So it was balanced slightly by the fact that I had a good summer of 2024.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you were to just look at that 2025 and that first quarter, fucking shocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking. But was I worried about that? No, because I knew what that was for. I knew that I was putting money into buying stock. And also, you know, January to March, especially around March time, you are prepping for markets again.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like myself don't trade January, February. I'm not even sure I will in March this year, to be honest. I'll probably have a bit of a break.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a flop, basically on paper it is, but it just took a while to pay off.
Yeah.
And also what I forgot was, and I remembered this when I sat and thought about it, it was a very conscious decision to make sure that I got all the expenditure out the way that I needed to prep for those shops before April 5th.
Yes.
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 So therefore I did have a good month of just money out.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
As long as you know where it's going.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like your red brick and stuff, and your display that you buy for a market and stuff like that, it's gonna continue to pay off.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Like that stock that you bought for the shops, like it's not gonna be an immediate payback.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's what you need to keep in mind. Like, yeah, I've spent...
Staggered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say you've spent like £200 on stock, and it was probably a lot more than that. Say you spent £200 on stock, hypothetically. That could take you 6 months before you earn that back.
I mean, I would hope not.
No, but in theory, it could.
In theory, yeah.
But you've got to just keep in mind that eventually you are going to see a return on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, for example, as I keep saying, that first quarter, total loss on paper, it looks like 2025 has been a burning shit show for me. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Because then I got into those shops opened, immediate money back.
Yeah.
Would it cover it? I don't know about that. I'm confident that it will.
Yeah.
I haven't done those exact figures yet.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
It's how exciting.
Can't wait.
I'm confident that it will, because I remember last year being one of my best, to be honest,
Yeah.
on the whole.
Yeah.
That's not to say there weren't things that flopped. As I say, it's the good with the bad all the time, but on the whole, successful. And that aim of getting into shops, I had a feeling it would go well for me, and it did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's the way it is. It was worth it. Yeah, it was a risk worth taking.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, you know, I'd be looking back at that now and maybe reevaluating and going, oh, should I cut my losses there?
Well, yeah.
But that's no bad thing either.
No.
But give it time. Don't expect, if you've spent a ruck ton of money for, say, market season, say your market season runs from, say, September to Christmas, and that's sort of your big market period, and you've spent a ruck load getting all your stock ready so that you believe that you will be fully stocked for all of those markets.
Yeah.
That's going to cost you a lot of money to do, a lot of time, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
After one market, that ain't going to be worth it. After two, it might not, 3, 4, 5, but eventually it will be. That is business though, you know, it's always money out for money in.
As long as you're selling a product for more than you're spending on it.
As long as there's a profit margin, you actually can't lose.
No, you can't.
The amount might differ from person to person based on that profit margin.
Yeah.
But as long as there is a profit there, you can't lose, as long as you don't do anything silly like buying in huge unit costs that will absolutely rinse you and take you ages to sell. You know, it might be that there are big things coming out, but I'm still very careful about the amount of quantities of prints that I order, because I don't want to be holding on to it for ages. But I also don't want it to just go out you know, so quickly that I'm having to place the same fucking order.
But I think as well with you, I think you do it a really clever way. Like, you will buy for what you need.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've got to stock in X, Y, and Z. I know I've got this market, this market, this market.
Yeah.
Here's what I think I'm probably going to sell.
Yeah.
That's what I'll buy in.
Yeah, I think I am quite good at
You don't buy
gauging
in,
that.
in excess, I don't feel.
That leads us on quite nicely to what we've done right versus what we need to improve on, money-wise, accounting-wise.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that? I know it's painfully awkward, but... Well, it shouldn't be. That's the whole point of the episode.
So I think what I've done right is building a business that I love. I think, don't look at me like that, like you want to be sick. I genuinely do think that's like the most important thing, because everything that I do for the business, everything I spend on the business, comes from a place of I actually want to do
I
that.
thought you were going to say a place of love then.
A place of love from my heart. No, it comes from a place of like, I actually want to do this. I want to invest in this. I want to invest in myself.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the best thing I did. If I wasn't doing something that I actually enjoyed, I would feel like bitter about investing that money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something I need to get better at is saying no to things. Which we've covered, a lot. But genuinely, like, I need to say no to things that, like, I don't have time for. I need to say no to things that aren't enough money for the effort.
Yeah.
I'm just so wanting to please everyone and wanting to... I almost want, like, I want to get a good review on me. Do you know what I mean? Like, not my business. I want people to think, like, Jade's nice. Do you know what I mean? And I know that that's fucking ridiculous. I know it is. You don't need to look at me like that.
You're horrible.
I know. But I don't want other people to know.
Oh my God. I can't. We can't do this and actually anyone no.
But
I draw a line.
Okay, just to briefly summarise, I need to get better at saying no to things.
Yeah.
I need to be okay with saying, actually, that's not enough money for me for this situation.
I can't imagine.
Oh, I'm never going to do it. I'm never, ever going to do that, obviously.
You ever go, no, it doesn't pay me enough.
Never, ever going to do that, Ellie. But that's the goal. Unachievable, as it might be.
I mean, I want that for you as well.
Thank you.
I get what you mean, though. It's not just money in that situation. I actually get more pissed off where I feel like I put a load of effort into something and it's not paid off. That's more exhausting for me. That's more soul-destroying.
Yeah.
The money's obviously a huge hit as well. I don't want to downplay that. It is. When you feel like you've lost money on something. Like my first wholesale order, I pulled that off with fucking guesswork and advice from other people. I think if I'd have done that blind, that would have cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even need to check your account to know that you've made a mistake like that.
Yeah.
You can fucking tell.
Yeah.
You put hours and hours and hours into something that just feels not worth it. You can gauge it almost. You know without looking at any numbers that wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And that's just as exhausting.
Yeah.
Should I answer the fucking question?
What you've done right versus what you need to improve on, please.
I'm very inconsistent. Not in money, in keeping on top of it. Okay. So like I say, when I started the business, I would like print off every invoice and I'd write notes on it and make sure that it was it was over the top.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was trying to look like a businesswoman. Yeah. I've got a feeling that a lot of it was that. It was like, I'm going to be the best.
You like in your power suit.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just, you know how it is when you're young and you're really enthusiastic. Like, you know them like things that you see like first day of college where they're turning up dead smart and then last day they're turning up in a fucking duvet. Yeah. It was like that for me. And running a business is pretty much
with your shoulder pads in and...
And so I do have the January panic, I will admit, and I'm terrible at deadlines. I love a deadline. I feel like it's a challenge.
Yeah.
How up against it can I go?
Yeah, you're vile.
Yeah. I never push it because I feel like you can't push it with HMRC.
No,
if you miss that deadline, it's not.
You're in jail.
Yes. I wouldn't go that far. I don't know what the fine is. I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I don't want to pay it.
But like I say, I've learnt the spreadsheet recently. I'm taking that as a win, That felt like a big girl job for me, and I was very proud of myself.
I'm very proud of you for that.
I went through all the formulas. I learnt them. Yeah. And one thing that I think I'm good at, and one thing that I took seriously early on, is that profit margin. I knew that had to exist. Yeah. So I've always had that. I'll always will have that. Yeah. If it ever comes to a place where inflation is so high and things have gone up so much, I'll readjust my prices, and I won't think twice about doing that because it has to be a business. Yeah. So I think I've got my head screwed on in that regard. It's all the organisation, all of the other shit that needs to improve.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. There's still time.
So, Jade.
Yes, Ellie.
I feel like we've done this like a fucking kids' TV show.
What's the moral of the story?
We have. Why is it laid out like that? It almost feels patronising. And I've written this to me.
What have we learned?
Oh, no.
What have we learned, Ellie?
I feel like that's like when you've twatted something. What did you
learn from this?
No, but seriously, we didn't want to do a Q&A for this because it's already a fucking topic. Yeah. We didn't have headspace for questions in this episode. So we've done a little bit of a what we've learnt along the way section instead. Yes. So what have we learnt?
We've learnt, I think the biggest thing for me is, like I said before, like I still am not comfortable with saying no to things, but I've found that it's okay to cut out things that don't serve you. Okay. And I think that's a big thing for me because like when I started, I was like taking on commissions and I was charging like pennies for them and I didn't enjoy doing them. I don't do commissions anymore. Things like that. Do
just
you know what
cut
I mean?
out completely.
Yeah. Sometimes a move that feels like you're going backwards isn't necessarily
you
going
can be
backwards.
pocketing more from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like cut your losses again. Yeah, going
that's
where
fine.
you can. Yeah, I think that is important as well to reevaluate and reflect. And that is business as well. It's not always smooth sailing and I think that's the biggest thing I've learned. I've had good patches and bad patches, I'm sure, as
Yeah.
everybody else has. I've taken risks that haven't paid off.
Yeah.
And I've taken risks that have. And I'm not interested in building a fucking empire.
Yeah.
Ever. I'm not.
And that's fine. That doesn't have to be the end goal.
Yeah, I just don't, it's me. At the end of the day, I need to bear in mind that my business is a small business and I think it will always be a small business, and that's no failure. That is exactly what I want. Me saying that I want a day job to go alongside it, even if just a couple of hours somewhere, is not a failure. That is what I want.
Yeah.
So I am looking to expand my horizons going forward a little bit more this year, but financially, they will be considered decisions as well, because I don't want to spread myself too thin. But I always seem to forget, and it's easy to forget this sometimes, if I take away the brand and the products, it's easy to think I've got nothing, but I have.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of it is I can draw.
Yeah.
And I'm a woman who draws.
Yeah, that's why you started it.
And I think I do that fucking well.
Yeah, you do.
And the business is something I've built around that.
Yeah.
But the integral part is I am still a person who can
Who
draw.
has that talent?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, I don't like the word
Okay,
talent.
sorry.
I don't
but
like
yeah.
the word talent.
But you know what I mean.
But
Skill.
That's my biggest asset.
Yeah.
And that's my moneymaker. So I know we've done a whole small business podcast
Yeah.
talking about, brand identity.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you are the person that possesses that talent.
Yeah.
That is your greatest asset. That is what's going to make me money.
Yeah.
So whether that goes into workshops, whether that goes into products, whether that goes into, who knows, maybe even teaching
Yeah.
or tutoring, whatever, there's so many different areas things like that can take you. Commission, again, which is something I do dabble in as well.
Yeah.
That's the money maker,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a good way of looking at it.
Is that a lesson?
Yeah, I think so.
And to read a question.
You've
in full.
learned that. Yes. Yes. The biggest lesson of all is read the tax return form.
Yeah. Word for word. Not in just any. They put the words in that order for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how they want it to be read. So that is it for today.
And forever on the money
Forever.
topic.
We'll never talk about money again. No, we will. Please, if you are still unsure or you've got like specific questions around money or specific questions around tax returns.
Yeah, especially more specific
Yeah.
questions. I
Yeah.
think we'd be happy to tackle that. Oh, God,
Yeah.
watch us get the most fucking hideous one now.
No, but please do. Like, again, we might not always have the answers, but it's worth. Even just, it's nice to chat to someone else who doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Do you know
Watch us get some fucking pleb ask us about offset assets now.
what I mean? We don't know. Don't bother.
offshore bank accounts.
So we'll actually be back in a month. So we're going to be switching from fortnightly to monthly going forward. So the episodes will be on the first Thursday of each month, which means the next episode will be on April 2nd, and we'll be talking about business fails. So in the meantime, don't forget you can give us a follow on Instagram, and there's loads of links in our bio where you can apply to be a guest. You can write in with your questions, and of course you can write in with your business fails, and they'll be mentioned on the next episode. So yeah, we'll see you in a month. Thank you for listening.
Bye.